Good morning, St. Louis. It is 7 a.m. on a Tuesday. See, I know what time it is. It's time for the St. Louis Hustle Podcast with your boy Cortez Hustle, my girl Michelle A.
Hey,
And today we're continuing our conversations for Mental Health Awareness Month. And today we're talking about how to understand social anxiety disorder. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a real thing. And if we don't understand that, sometimes you can be insensitive to people that you love, people that you respect, as they are battling this serious social condition. So we're going to give you some tips and some strategies on how to recognize some of the signs and some things that you could do so that you don't put your foot in your mouth, as they say, when it comes to talking about or people experiencing this disorder. So do us a huge favor, comment in the chat where you're from, drop the name of your business and or your brand, ladies and gentlemen, and smash that share button, ladies and gentlemen, and let's kick it this morning.
Growing up in St. Louis has never been easy, and most say if you want to succeed here, that you must leave and put down roots somewhere else because of the strong crabs in a barrel mentality here.
I don't know if I'm just an optimistic person, but to see people like Chuck Berry and Nelly make it in the music industry, or the Roberts brothers and Dave Stewart in business, or William Lacey Clay Jr. in politics, can we blame the city, or is it that people just aren't hungry enough?
We're talking to all of the movers and shakers in this town, from entertainers to politicians, social activists and organizers, and of course, entrepreneurs.
Is there a curse on this city that holds people back? Is there an unseen hand that decides who makes it and who doesn't? You're about to find out.
Welcome to St. Louis Hustle.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the St. Louis Hustle Podcast. I'm your host, Cortez Hustle. That's my girl, Michelle. Hey, she's holding down the co-hosting duties, and we're coming to you live and direct from the SEL Hot Deal Studios right here in St. Louis, Missouri. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to get plugged into a system that's going to provide you with hot deals from some of the best businesses in St. Louis, Missouri, buy one, get one free deals, up to 70% discounts on events and experiences in and around St. Louis, I need you to do me a huge favor. Either go to stlhotdeals.com and sign up, or you can text the word deals to 314-730-3999. And when you enroll, when you register, when you subscribe, you get entered to win a 5-night vacation stay in sunny Cancun, Mexico. That's right. You can win a trip to Mexico if you register. So go to stlhotdeals.com. Now, this is for St. Louis people only, right? If you're not in St. Louis and you win the trip, I'm going to take it back. It's for St. Louis people only. So go to stlhotdeals.com or text deal to 314-730-3999. Chalet.
Whew. Man, oh man. My weekend was really pretty chill. It was really pretty chill. And by chill, I mean, I laid back in the cut, but I mean, it was like, whoa, it's exciting. I had a good time. So Influence Church back in the streets again, and I just absolutely loved it. It was a good time. We were down in Joplin, Missouri this weekend, and we partnered with the new church. Shout out to Alpha and Omega Christian Center Church. We did some work with their congregation in feeding their community. It's Joplin, but it's a little town called Carthage, which is right outside of Joplin. And this was a Guatemalan community primarily and largely. And they was there for the party. That's all I have to say is they were ready. They were ready. It was a good time. It made me realize two things. Number one, I need to brush up on my Spanish. And number two, because I think they try to get me married. I think they tried to marry your girl off down there. I don't know what was going on. But I was asked several questions. I thought I was on the dating game. And I was like, well, but then so they asked me, was I married? And would I consider marrying a Hispanic man? And I was just like, well, long as he loved the Lord. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden they all start talking in Spanish real fast. And then they all start laughing. I was like, wait, what's going on? I was like, a couple people turned their heads and looked at me. I'm like, what? Yeah. So, but it was a good time. So good of a time. I'm actually going back next weekend
Nice.
to finish up some training. So they sold. So I keep saying sold. They gave away all the food that they had, which is rare for a new site, but their people worked hard to pull the people in. And so I'm going to try to get some footage when I'm down there next weekend or this coming weekend, because they are a fun bunch. And most importantly, they made it so I didn't have to work. So it was an even better time. So so that was what was up for the weekend. How about you? What you and your sugar get into this weekend?
Man, listen. One of the few weekends that I actually remember, we did have a pretty good time. Started out a little somber. My uncle lost his mom last week, so we actually went to their funeral and the celebration homegoing, which was very amazing. The pastor really did a great job of eulogizing her, and I like when they say, "Don't worry, we ain't gonna be long, because we ain't got to pray this woman into heaven."
Okay.
You know the type of person that she was.
That's all right.
That was pretty amazing. But after that, we went down to Rose Day in the Central West End. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with Rose Day. I was not. I wasn't even going to the Central West End for Rose Day. I just wanted to go for a new vibe. I was telling my wife, as I drive Uber, sometimes I drop people off down there. And there's a lot of shops and a lot of things going on. So I was like, hey, one weekend, we just got to go hang out down in the Central West End. And we did. And it just happens to be Rose Day. And it's a women's empowerment day
nice.
I saw so many female entrepreneurs out there doing their thing.
Nice.
A lot of nonprofit organizations. And
did you work?
I did not work. I was tempted to work.
I'm like, what, entrepreneurs?
Women. Listen, I wanted to interview some of those women and be like, hey, y'all need to be on the Single Social podcast. I'm gonna see if I can pull up this video, because somebody that I know and love actually rode the mechanical bull. And it was pretty cool.
I was gonna say, do you have permission to show said video? I'd hate to be on here next week by myself.
Well, it's live on Facebook, so
I love sugar.
So,
I love sugar. Come on with it.
So let me see if I can pull this up. And my sister-in-law actually did as well. I didn't put hers on Facebook, but she is out there in those bull riding streets too, and it was
not the bull riding streets.
Needless to say, we had an amazing time. We went over to Drunken Fish and had some sushi and swimming. So it was a good time, ladies and gentlemen. It was a
good weekend. It was a good day. It was a beautiful day.
Beautiful day to be out and about in those streets. So let me see if I got this footage that I can share with y'all. Let's see. Share. Yes. All right. Boom. We're gonna go here. And wait a minute. Stop it. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. Wait a minute.
Look, I was tuned in. I can't see. I was zooming in.
Yeah, I think that's Sugar trying to sabotage me from the other room.
Don't blame Sugar. Don't blame Sugar.
No, here we go.
We don't blame Sugar. All right.
Let's go here. And then let's scroll down and find it. Boom. There we go.
Okay. Come on, Sugar, being adventurous. Come on, Sugar. I love it. Aww.
All right, let's skip it ahead a little bit.
Okay. She hold on. She's like, boy, I gotta raise these 5 boys. This is nothing. Come on, Sugar. She is hold on. Oh man. There was a lot of hollering going on. I noticed we ain't got no audio.
Yes.
Oh man. Oh, you are that husband. Always there with your daggone camera. Let me get this on tape. Let me just
She keep talking about pause. Wait. A bull is not gonna pause and wait because you say so.
Hold on, give me a minute. Wait.
So that is my sugar at Rose Day in St. Louis. The actual organization that had that out there, they were raising money, is called Diamond Diva Empowerment Foundation. They are a women's empowerment group, domestic violence, transitional housing, all of that stuff. And I actually ran into a good friend, Shanetta, down there. Her daughter and my son played ball with the same organization for 7 years. So she's actually going to come on the show and tell us all about the great work that they're doing in the community. So
wonderful.
Super cool, super cool. So that was the weekend for us. I know you got a great word in store for us today. So we're going to go ahead and get into the Michelle A. word of the day. So let me find your friend to introduce.
And now the Michelle A. word of the day.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Michelle A., coming back at you again with another Michelle A. word of the day. So I told you guys a little bit about my trip over the weekend, and I spent some time with my boss. Shout out to Pastor Vanetta. And man, she said something so impactful. And I'm just going to give you this quote that she gave me and just expound on it a tad bit, and then we out of here. So the quote is, what you won't pray for on the mountain, you'll cry out for in the valley. Say it one more time. What you won't or what you don't pray for on the mountain, you're going to cry out for in the valley, right? It put me in the mind of, this may hit a bunch of different ways, but it put me in the mind of all those times that we're in certain circumstances when we know we need to pray, right? Whether it's a situation, whether it's, for someone. And a lot of times God will download it, pray for that person. And if you're a fake person, well, I won't say fake, but sometimes it happens. I'll say that. People say, oh, would you pray? I'll pray for you. You get home, get caught up in your life, and you don't even remember. Or maybe you got something going on in your own life, excuse me, and for whatever reason, you just don't pray about that situation. Well, if you won't go up on the mountain and pray for it, you got to be careful, because you could be in the valley crying out for that thing you should have prayed for. So the end result to me was pray, people, pray. You got to pray. Take a minute, build your prayer time. I recently joined a prayer team at church. Take your time, even if you have to build it, 5 minutes on this day, 7 minutes on the next day, build your prayer life. Build in prayer so that you can take those prayers to the mountain, so you ain't got to cry out for them in the valley. Boom. That's it, people. This has been your Michelle A. word of the day.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. You heard it here first. Pray on the mountaintop so you don't have to cry out for that thing in the valley. Thank you so much, Michelle A., for that word of the day. And the word of the day is brought to you by STL Hot Deals. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want free stuff, buy one, get one free offer, special discounts, restaurants, events, attractions, merchandise, and you're in the St. Louis area, I need you to go to stlhotdeals.com, or you can just text the word deals to 314-730-3999. Again, text the word deals to 314-730-3999. And guess what? When you sign up, you're actually going to get entered into a drawing to win a free Cancun vacation. That is correct, ladies and gentlemen. It's going down. So thank you so much for that word of the day, Michelle. We're talking about social anxiety, how to deal with it, how to notice it, how to recognize it. If you're going through it in yourself, how to see it in your children, because I didn't know that it shows up in early adolescence too. So you want to kick us off today, or you want me to kick us off on this topic, as we are continuing to honor Mental Health Awareness Month, ladies and gentlemen. Check on your strong friends. That's my call to action all this month. Check on your strong friends, right? sometimes people that we know have a history of going through things, we are quick to check on them, but the people that are strong, that are often doing the checking up on of others,
come on,
we forget to check on them, man.
Well, we need it,
Mental health
man.
awareness month. Check on your strong friends this month.
Check on your strong friends. You know what? And I'm gonna say this also too. You know, check on your strong friends, because yes, we do need it. I'm gonna say we, because I'm one of them ones. And I'm also say check on your dark skinned friends too. It's hot outside, and people think we just take the heat because we dark. No, we the ones. We sunburned too. Check on your dark skinned friends. Okay, that was free. That was a bonus. Okay, I'm just gonna kick us off super duper quickly and talking about some of the intricate points of the social anxiety disorder, or they call it SAD.
Yeah.
You know, it's ironic, the irony.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna go there because you're gonna get all the hate mail. I'm not gonna go there, but I was like, is that the acronym? Why are we doing that? Okay.
Yeah. No, like some acronyms you just don't have to actually spell out. Just
You really
like come on, we talk about social anxiety and now you're talking about SAD.
Right, exactly. There it is. But you know what? So here's the thing I'll say, and it's similar to what you said about checking on strong people. People assume strong people always have it all together.
Mm-hmm.
We don't. You know what I'm saying? We don't. And people would think, great example before I hit these points, people would think that because I am a out of the box kind of person, I'm a performer. I do comedy. I'm a trainer. I do a whole lot of things that involve people, and I love people, but I still have moments of social anxiety. I don't know if it's to the point of calling it a disorder, but I've seen some of these traits that we're going to cover. I've seen some of those traits in myself when I get in some social circles or some social situations. People are often surprised. I don't just walk right up. Sometimes I can, but I don't just walk right up to people and be like, "Hi, I'm Michelle."
Mm-hmm.
There's been some situations where I've been in crowds and I've just kind of felt that my heartbeat, and I get sweaty, and I'm just like, I wanna introduce myself and approach groups of people.
Mm-hmm.
If everybody's sectioned off and talking, I don't have a people group to belong to. I'm like, I remember, super quick story. We're gonna get into this, but I feel like it fits. So when I started Bible, I went to Bible college a couple of years ago during the pandemic, and we went to orientation. Afterwards, they had a mixer and a barbecue. I didn't mix so well. And it wasn't because anyone didn't necessarily, I felt ousted or nothing. I just got in that setting. Everyone was out in the parking lot. They were barbecuing, they were playing music, and people were talking. And I just felt stuck. I don't know why I couldn't move to join a circle and just be friendly, you know? And what I wound up doing was, this was so high school. I pulled out my phone and I looked at it. I ain't had no text messages, but I looked at it and I was like, oh, and I act like I made a call, put it to my phone, and walked off and got in my car and drove off. Like I had to make a phone call, get out of there. And I just felt so awkward because fear had taken hold, and so it's a real thing. It's a real thing.
It really is. And I think if you're not careful, like when you recognize some of these points, and when you're in social settings, you're going to be able to see that in people and then be able to approach them and help them feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
And I did the same thing over the weekend. So I had a funeral on Saturday, and then one of my best friends from childhood, his mom passed on Friday. So they did a balloon release yesterday, on Sunday. And, I know his family, but it's been years since I've connected with his family. So of course I go and give him a hug and express my condolences, and then he's got to go and talk to everybody else. So I'm standing by myself, like, oh man, what I do? Yeah. So I definitely know that feeling. So let's get into some of these important points about social anxiety that people may or may not be aware of. And then we're going to talk about some ways to recognize the signs and those kinds of things.
Okay, I'll hit these kind of quick because there's a bunch of them. So what we don't really realize is social anxiety disorder affects millions of people worldwide. So as we were saying, it's a lot bigger than what people think. Women are affected by SAD more than men. 75% of people with SAD experience symptoms in childhood and adolescence, which you recently just mentioned. Only 50% of people that have been diagnosed with SAD get treatment. So we'll discover that it's going on, but we won't get the help to fix it. And that's the crazy part, right? Yeah. Those who do get treatment usually struggle for 10 or more years before seeking. So we get diagnosed and we just sit on it. Maybe it'll get better, but we don't seek treatment even after we get diagnosed. Anxiety symptoms are physical. This is something people don't realize. The symptoms of anxiety are physical, behavioral, and emotional. There is a strong cognitive element in SAD. Avoidant personality traits often co-occur with SAD. You avoid social situations because you know you don't feel right. I just ain't go. Alrighty. The disorder is caused by genetics, heredity, and environment. Treatment includes or can include medication, therapy, and related techniques. And that's why I'm going to stop right there. Okay, I'm going to hit this last one. Exposure therapy is believed to be the most effective treatment for SAD. So those are just some of the things or points to consider about SAD.
Yeah, and I think this is important, especially for me as a parent, and I think anybody who is a parent, especially of young people, and I say that specifically and intently, that we see sometimes our children as children and not young people or little people. And I remember when I was so my history is my family is from a little town in Mississippi called Nettleton. The next biggest town is Tupelo, which you probably still don't know, only famous because of Richard Pryor talked about it in one of his stand-ups. And that's also the place where Elvis Presley was born, right? And then the next biggest town is Memphis. Some people usually associate Tupelo and Memphis closely related. But my mom actually was raised by her grandmother. So my grandmother, my mom's mom, moved to St. Louis when she was a young, fast-tailed woman trying to get out from under the thumb of her mama's. So she moved to St. Louis, right? And she had a sister who moved to New York. And when my mom got grown enough to be young and fast-tailed, she hightailed out of Nettleton too, and she moved to New York, right? And now imagine being a quote slow, beautiful, high yellow young lady with 6 gold teeth, is very pretty, and moving to the fast-paced New York. Ended up getting with a man that was very abusive, and ultimately her escape plan was to start shipping the kids away. She sent me and my sister away first, then my brothers, and then she was able to ultimately run and get out of that situation. She sent me to my grandma at about 4 or 5 years old. Now, I know this is my grandma. I know these people love me when I look back on it, but I didn't know those people.
In the moment, it's like
I did not know those people. Those were strangers to me, right? So I got dropped off, and I just remember being very quiet, and because I didn't know them, I didn't feel comfortable, and I remember them trying to get me out of this, what I now know is social anxiety, right? They were trying to get me out of it, and they would do things like, well, if you don't speak up and say you're hungry, you won't eat. Right now, I'm 5 years old. I'm 4 years old.
Skittiest kid
at a certain time of the day, because you know that a kid is hungry at a certain time of the day. But that was them trying to break me out of this shyness and not realizing, to a lot the same way that I've done my children in the past, not realizing that could be a real mental disorder, and they could really be battling with getting comfortable in social settings. And I'm just saying, man, go over there and introduce yourself, and go over there and talk to the people. Stop being antisocial, right? When we learn a new word, right, we wear it out. That was one of the ones that we would wear out. And my wife has to constantly remind me They got it honest. She's shy and reserved. I'm shy and reserved. What kind of kids did we think we was gonna produce?
Right.
But I just
Maybe.
remember, so as parents, just sometimes it is just an unwillingness to be friendly because maybe something going on in your child's life that day. But sometimes it's an unwillingness to get comfortable in social settings because it's something going on in your child's life, not just that day, that's just in their makeup. And you've got to make sure that you are looking at it from all angles and not trying to force kids into being social. So that was my experience with being social. And all my life, it is, man, you weird, because I would literally just be in my own thoughts all the time. I didn't like, and I'm the type of person that when I really get deep in my own head, oh, you can see it on my face. Like I'm like, I'm in there. I'm
Say what is
yeah.
What's
And so on the outside looking in, it's like, what the heck is going on in his head? I know it's something going on, and because I can see it in his face.
Yeah.
And so people will say that, man, he's weird. He doesn't like to talk to people and that kind of stuff. But it could have been social anxiety. Going into high school, that's a big deal. I went to a high school where I did not go to high school with the same kids I went to middle school with. So I went to elementary and middle school in Wellston, but all of my family graduated from Sodan. So it was expected that I don't care where you went to middle school, our family are Sodan Tigers. You're going to Sodan. My brothers, my sisters, my aunts, my uncles, everybody, right? So I went from middle school knowing everybody, being relatively popular because it was only 200 people in the whole building from 1st through 8th grade. So, but going from that setting to going to high school with 4,000 people, and I know nobody except for my cousin, and I entered high school with my older brother still in high school. He was a senior and I was a freshman. So you know how that went down. Man, get away from me.
Yeah. I don't know you.
I don't know you. Right. So talk about social anxiety and trying to figure things out and make friends and all of that kind of stuff. So that's why we want to bring you guys these kinds of topics. So let's get into what else do we have on deck for this social anxiety deal.
Symptoms. Let's talk about some of the symptoms, right? We talk about some of those statistics. It's good to know, but how do you know if that has visited your door? Because a lot of times people being black folk, we be in denial. We be like, that ain't me. Quit playing. Like they used to tell you, get over there and talk. Like you tell your boy, go over there and talk to them. Quit acting crazy. Quit acting stupid.
And that's why we're doing this for Mental Health Awareness Month, because of that phrase right there. Get over there and quit acting crazy.
Yeah.
Now, if I know that there is something wrong with me on the inside that's keeping me from going to introduce myself, going to make conversation, I feel sweaty palms, and we're going to get into some of these symptoms. I feel that. How do you think it makes me feel when you say, get over there and quit acting crazy? It's like, I'm not acting. I want to go say hi, but for some reason, my feet feel like they're in cement.
Right.
And we're not helping the kids deal with that. So let's get into some of these symptoms, man. We're talking social anxiety today. You guys share your stories in the comments if you're able to talk, and we'll read as many of those as we can. But social anxiety is a real thing, right?
It's absolutely.
So I guess we didn't really define social anxiety.
You know what? We did not. My bad.
Definition. Do you have a definition?
Let's
see.
Please. I just jumped right in like people knew what was going on. Like, I don't know what was going on. I didn't. Oh, Lord.
Let me see. Let me pull up the definition first, and then we'll get to some of these symptoms.
All right. My bad.
All right. So social anxiety disorder, sometimes referred to as a social phobia, is a type of anxiety disorder that causes extreme fear in social settings, right? People with this disorder have trouble talking to people, meeting new people, and attending social gatherings. They fear being judged or scrutinized by others, right? So that is what it is, right? It is the extreme fear of social settings, right? Not wanting to talk to people, fear of being judged and scrutinized by others. Like it's literally, I don't want to go to a party because everybody's going to have something to say. This is what's going on in people's heads. So let's get into some of these actual symptoms of the actual sad social anxiety disorder. So what are some of the symptoms? All right.
All righty. Want to start?
So,
I guess start with the physical ones.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, me. Oh, you want me on program?
Yes. Yes. You're on the program. You're on the program.
I'm sorry. I'm over here like. I'm my bad. I just had the anxiety moment in my sleep.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Excuse me. That's nasty. Sorry, y'all. Okay, so a few of the physical symptoms. Please don't start laughing. A few of the physical symptoms. You feel your heart rate increase. You get a little sweaty. You feel the sweat come upon you. Oh, you start to feel dizzy. You feel your room or your environment shifting. Muscle tension or twitching. Your eyes start jumping or your jaw gets clenched. You get dry throat. Your mouth get dry. Upset stomach, nausea, or gastric distress. Gastric distress. Sorry, Lord. I guess that's you get nervous and you got poop. It happens to some people. It's a real thing too. It's a real thing as well. I did that at the grocery store. I got nervous because the price of what I wanted to buy was high. I was like, what did that go up? Oh, Lord, I got it. It'll happen. So, okay. Please help me, Lord. Tearing up or crying. I used to do this as a kid. I would be in a new social environment, and I would tear up and be like, why am I emotional? Why am I I used to do that as a child all the time. You get flushed or you get hives. Let's see, bouncing or tapping, shaking, tapping pen. Sometimes that's just my energy drink. But when I was a kid, when I didn't have an energy drink, I'd do that. And then shaking or trembling. Some people get so physically struck with fear or anxiety, they shake. You got to make a speech or you going back to when you were giving that definition, something that I felt was left off the list of the definition. I think in some cases it's a fear of rejection, right? We're afraid of people not accepting us. We're afraid of being just hardcore rejected. So I don't want to be in that situation. I don't want to even try to talk to these new people because what if they don't like me?
Yeah.
What if I'm not pulled in or accepted? And I know that for a long time, walking into a room, that fear of rejection, I think, can manifest if it's not atypical of social anxiety. It can develop into. Because I used to walk in a room, I don't want people to look at me, so therefore I'm not going in that room full of people. And somewhere the switch flipped where I really have to say I would even attribute when I worked for Equifax as helping me, and I was a good and grown person in my late 20s when I started there. It helped me to get past that because I had to be in elements in front of people. And I couldn't care what they thought. It was a part of my job. I had become a trainer, and I had to do it. And I still had those thoughts of when I walk in a room, everyone's going to judge me. They're going to look at me. They're going to talk about me from head to toe. And I did. I got sweaty, clammy. I stuttered. I'm not a stutterer, but I stuttered because that nervous and that anxiety was kicking in. So totally get that.
Yeah. So, and these are physical signs. So these are things, and I go back to parents because we got to change the way we parent, y'all.
Absolutely.
Like literally, I was watching something and I can't remember who was being interviewed, but we keep comparing our childhood to our children's childhood.
Ooh, mercy Jesus.
And when you think about it, when we grew up, we did not have as many social outlets and outward stimuli and influences to compare to what our kids have today, right?
Yeah.
When we went outside, that was all that was to stimulate us, and you might have a group of 5 or 10 kids outside. These kids go online and they have the mental, social input of literally millions of people sharing different thoughts and influencing them in different ways, right? We didn't have that. My brother and I were talking yesterday or Sunday, because they actually went on the deal with us to Rose Day, and we were talking about how one generation says, man, St. Louis is too slow. There's not enough to do around here. And we're thinking like, you're looking for more stuff to do at my 47, almost 48-year-old, but I'm looking for less stuff to do. Like, you don't even remember when we didn't have a 24-hour news cycle. You don't remember that the TV used to go off at midnight.
Right. Okay.
You hear the national anthem, and then you get the color blocks or the static.
The Neapolitan screen.
Yeah, until 6 o'clock in the morning. So there's a lot of things that this generation and kids under us are actually going through and have to battle that we have no idea about. I had 2 bullies in middle school, right? And these kids can have 200, 2,000 people bully them on a post on social media, right? So it's like we have to look at these signs and see, oh, is this just normal fear, or is this actual anxiety paralyzing my kid in these social situations? So the hand trembling, do they get an upset stomach every time they get in a certain environment? Like, we got to recognize this stuff. So some of the emotional symptoms: excessive fear or worry, right? And they say women experience this more than men. And I only think they come up with that because women are quicker to say that they are afraid, or I don't want to go in this environment. People are going to talk about me and this kind of stuff. So, and I don't think boys, even boys, especially teenagers and young men, would say, "Oh, I'm scared to go in this environment. Oh, I don't want to be judged." They just, chalk it up and put that fake masculinity mask on, right? But excessive fear or worry, feeling nervous, right? Anxiety attacks, difficulty breathing, tightness in your chest, and like that stuff. When you put your kid in a new environment, like seriously, dropping your kid off at daycare or before school care or after care, and they do some of this stuff, and because we gotta go to work, oh, quit cutting up, and your kid could actually be having an anxiety attack. But we're not. It's like, and what we tend to do is, if a lot of kids are doing it, oh, it's normal, it's typical, don't worry about it, go on, go to work, mom, go on, go to work, dad, we got it from here. And it's like, no, that might be a serious situation that needs to be addressed. Obsessive concern about red or sweaty face, sweaty hands, splotches on the face, or just negative thoughts, rumination, or catastrophizing that leads to feeling overwhelmed. Like, when your kid or anybody, this could be your spouse, your mate, when they talk about going into a social environment and from a perspective that the world is going to end, right? That's catastrophizing. Like, wait a minute, what if I go in here and I totally bomb this speech and I end up losing my job, and then my career goes down the tank, and now we can't afford the house, and then we get put out the house, and now we're living on the streets and we're homeless. Like, I'm just asking you to get up and say, give a honor to God who's the head of my life. There's only 30 people in the church. Like, it's like but people can literally see the world end before they do something as simple as give a testimony in church or introduce themselves in front of a room. So when you see people doing those things, that's a serious situation, right?
You know what? Just real quick to piggyback on that, in children, that's so important. You hit this note, but I'm just going to keep reiterating it. In children, when you notice those signs, children do the same thing. You know, if I don't get an A on this test, I'm going to flunk the class. No one's going to like me. I'm not going to get the career that I want. They do it at the elementary, high school, college levels, even daycare. Kids talk. They still feel anxious. What if I don't make any friends and nobody likes me and I'm alone and I don't get to have fun when I go? It's very important to talk to your children about how they're feeling and talk them through the process and allow them to, in a way, because here's the thing, if it's in there and it doesn't come out, it's going to stay packed in and it'll pop out when it's in an environment and you're not there. But if you talk to them, how do you feel about it? Allow them to kind of go through that emotion with you so that as they're catastrophizing, you can say, no, here's the reason and logic as to why that won't happen. No. So even if it happens or those thoughts come to them, you can give them the techniques on, okay, mom said that, okay, even if no one talks to me, it doesn't mean that they don't like me. It just means that maybe they're feeling the same way. Maybe I can, what I'm saying? Just walking a child, adolescent, college student, or whomever, husband, wife, spouse, walking them through some of those things to help them address it so that it doesn't lie there dormant. And I think that's, being in touch, with your kids, with your significant other, whoever, just to try to help them be more successful in that environment. Cause that's a big thing. That's a very big thing. So some of the behavioral symptoms that you may notice in those demographic groups: playing it small to escape the limelight. Used to do it in high school. Knew I wanted to be an actress, knew that I wanted it, but was so afraid of so many things. I'll be a curtain puller. Pull it. Okay, I got it. Played the background. Using social media or gaming to avoid physical contact. Dropping out to avoid interaction with others at school or work. I've seen it. Once I got to be an adult and I start facing some of those things, it changed, slowly pivoted for me. But I've seen it in others where they'll be like, I don't want to go to that. We having a team thing at work. I don't want to go to that. I don't want to be involved. Y'all go ahead. I gotta go. I had an employee that worked for me that I ain't gonna call her name because she still worked for the company. But my last team, I was over at Equifax. She'd be like, do I have to go? That was always a question. Do I have to? It's gonna be fun. For who? Do I have to go? And I think she just, she faced some social anxiety.
I remember I stood my homeboy up because we had an assembly at school, and I don't know if you guys know, in English, there's a famous poem called Annabelle Lee. And we had to memorize that poem through school. And this was in 91, I guess, my junior year in high school. So what we decided to do, we was going to turn Annabelle Lee into a rap, and we were going to perform it, right? And I got social anxiety, and I stood him up.
You ain't go to school that day?
I didn't show up.
Oh,
I did not show up, and the duo became a solo act. Because I was afraid of just what you talked about, that judgment, that what are people going to say about me, and do I want to be in front of that? And this time the situation had flipped. So when we went to Sodan closed after my sophomore year, and it became the International. They redid the school and all that kind of stuff. So everybody got kicked out. We had to go somewhere else. Now I'm back at Wellston as a junior in high school, but I had 2 years of the people that I was connecting with going on, making new friends and all that kind of stuff. So now I'm the new kid again in high school. Right. So
I'm still stuck on you stood that man, you stood that boy up. So he went on to become Nelly. And you know what? You could have been a lunatic.
There we have it. Yeah.
You could have been a lunatic.
Who's the real lunatic now?
I can't with you. I don't even know why I went there. You know what? I'm sorry. I asked for that. Okay. Compulsive eating or binge eating. I never made the connection, but hell, it could be true. I just saw the list.
Right.
I didn't directly relate it, but yeah, I guess it could be true. Avoiding eating in public or in front of others. Now, I used to do that because I just didn't want to get talked about. I didn't want to be a stereotype. I just didn't want that to be me. I had a friend in high school. I was a senior. She was a junior. And when I tell you this chick would drive down the street and eat whatever was on her plate, driving. This girl was driving down the street eating a plate of ribs. I was like, you just go eat the ribs while you driving. She's like, girl, I'm hungry. I said, I'm not trying to get talked about being the fat girl driving. You can't wait.
Right. And listen, I remember, so this is where a lot of girls, like in high school, girls didn't eat lunch. A lot of girls just flat out just did not eat lunch. And I'm like, well, y'all really gonna go all day and not eat.
Right. Stomach growling.
Before I eat in front of this whole room of people, I just not gonna eat at all. Or I'm gonna get me a bag of chips and I'm gonna go off into the corner and I'm gonna have me a bag of chips and a soda. Like,
that's crazy. You know, so in the movies where they portray the person, the new person or the awkward person eating lunch in a bathroom stall. That's the nastiest thing. I think every time I see it in those 90s movies, that's nasty. Who got their plate of food with people that took a boo-boo? You sitting in there eating because won't nobody talk to you? I just had to be in the corner not being talked to before I eat bathroom with people that took a do. There it is.
Yeah.
Okay. That is crazy. Okay. You stop attending social activities due to excessive worry, fear, or dread of embarrassment. That's a bit. So many people deal with that. And that's and I'll say the girl's first name because there's a lot of people named Stacy in this world. But I think that was really what it was. She was worried about the judgment. She was, worried about being embarrassed. So that's a real thing. I've had some of that. Let me quit talking about other people's business and tell my own. I would say in the last couple of years, I've had some of that. I was invited to go to a couple different social events, and there was a worry of me not being included in the crowd. And I was included to be invited, but I had a fear that when I got to where I was going with a certain group of people, that I was going to be not included, if that makes sense. And I didn't want that awkwardness, so I just was like, you know what, man, something happened and I couldn't make it, and. It's a real thing. Self-medicating with alcohol or other drugs, especially at social functions. Man, when I started doing comedy, man, you talk about a drink was my friend. I'd be on stage, and after a certain point, it don't matter if y'all laugh at these jokes. I am funny to me, and that's the way it was. And I really thank God for going into clean comedy because that really saved my life. Because I probably had cirrhosis of the liver by now if I'd have kept doing regular comedy. It would have been crazy.
Right.
Man, this is something also that I do. I've done it on this show. Speaking very fast, abruptly, or interrupting when attending social activities.
Yeah.
The show, Cortez be like, whoa, wait a minute, I got something to say. And I just cut you off on the 105 in the pass. But that anxiety can do that. So
and I think one of the things that is not on here listed, and this is what I was guilty of, overcompensating, right? Trying to overcome the fear. And I literally, I say it often, and people often don't catch it, but I tried really, really hard to convince the world that I really was who I was pretending to be. I was overcompensating because of this anxiety. So I had to create an alter ego to survive those certain situations, and therefore people never really got to know Cortez. They got to know the front man for Cortez. And I drank in high school. I took my first drink as a sophomore in high school, smoked my first joint as a sophomore in high school, because I thought that would get me in with the cool crowd and being socially accepted in those spaces, right? That's kind of like the overcompensating, trying to be the funny guy and trying to have, didn't want to be the quiet, shy guy. So I tried to manufacture a thought or interject into conversations that I knew nothing about, just trying to overcome the fear. And I was not being my authentic self. And it literally drove me crazy, right? It literally drove me crazy. That's what landed me in the mental institution for several weeks as a younger man, because of a lot of the trauma that I experienced and a lot of the overcompensation and some of the anxiety that I experienced in social settings was related to the trauma. Will they find out I was molested? Will they find out I was abused? Will they find out how they're going to receive me if all of these things come to light? So I was trying to create the opposite of that guy and be extroverted, and it just wasn't genuine. And very few people actually knew the real Cortez. And I thank God for my buddy Tobias, and shout out to Tobias. And his mom is the one who just passed. So I was at a balloon release for her on Sunday. But it was him who knew who I really was. And when I was really out of my mind and the straw broke the camel's back, it was him who literally, all 6'2", 230 pounds of pure muscle of him, held me down on the ground and said, "Bro, you're going to the hospital, and if you don't, I'm gonna F you up." Like, okay. It's like, okay.
Where whose car we taking? Okay, over here. Okay,
like, yeah.
I'm over here.
Like, because they were trying to get me to, Letha was, I was in and out a couple of times, and Letha was trying to get me to stay and get the help that I needed. And I was like, nah, no. I would go, and the max they can hold you is for 72 hours involuntarily. Right. So I would do that a couple of times, and like, bro, you going to the hospital and you staying. And if you don't, if I see you out here on these streets again, before you get the help that you need, I'm going to have to put the pause on you, right? He didn't say it like that because he wasn't saying put the pause on you back then, but I knew exactly what he meant.
Oh, and, you ain't want to question it. What do you mean? Wait, I got it.
Got the help that I needed.
That's amazing friendship right there.
Yeah,
that's
it really is.
You know what they call it in the church world? They call it masking up. And I remember super quick. I remember doing that when I was doing secular comedy. I adapted this attitude that people didn't like who Michelle authentically was. A friendly, kind, let me help you, let me pray for you, let me just love on you, Michelle. People didn't like that Michelle. So I said, well, they don't like that Michelle. Let me give them what they did appeal to. What did appeal to them was rough, brass, in your face, over the top, scantily cladly dressed, just promiscuous Michelle. Let me give them that Michelle. Yeah. And they seem to like that Michelle. And I'm not a rude person by any means. I don't try to be, and if I am, I'm gonna come back and apologize. Man, I didn't give a damn. I was running up on everybody and just doing all. And what you gonna do? And what you gonna do? When I ain't want that smoke, but I was out there like, who gonna check me, boo? And because I presented that attitude, people didn't. They just was like, oh, and that crowd. I had that crowd, but I wasn't being authentically true to what. It was tiring being that person. Yeah. It was tiring. And I hurt some people in that phase of my life. You know what I'm saying? I hurt a lot of people in that phase. And it just wasn't cool. It wasn't cool. I'm glad.
You said something that I want to bring to your attention, and I want to see if you feel the same way that I. You said people didn't like who the real Michelle was, and I had that same experience. I thought that people wouldn't like the real Cortez, and you know why I thought that? Because I didn't like the real Cortez. Yeah. See, I saw the drug dealer, the hyper masculine playboy, jock, chasing all the girls, and because society tells you that that's the precursor to manhood. If you're 15, 16, 17 years old, and these are the things that you go through on your way to manhood.
Right.
I didn't feel that way, but because I didn't have a father in my life to say, you know what? No, there's another path to manhood too. You don't have to be that in order to grow into manhood. You can be humble. You can be meek. You don't have to be an aggressive guy. You could still be yourself and grow into manhood. That's just a different path. I didn't have it. So I created and manufactured. Like, I was literally on the street selling drugs and toting guns, and I am so not that dude, right? But I thought being that dude is what would get me the girl. And oddly enough, the girl that I got didn't come until I stopped being that dude.
Yep.
When I came into her life, she came into my life, and I was doing some of that stuff. She's like, oh, no, sir, we don't do that around here. And if you're going to be around here and my two boys, this is the expectation. And when I tell you a sigh of relief, I said, wait a minute. You mean I can get the girl and be myself?
Right. Right. Sigh of relief. You know, I think, you know what, and it's interesting you say it like that. I think mine was more about protecting who I was, because when I did try to be me, I was met with that rejection, and I didn't like that. You know what I'm saying? Because here's the thing, big picture is I was in the wrong environment. I was around the wrong people. So I was trying
people who were threatened by your authentic self.
Yeah.
But if no one told you that, girl,
Yeah.
they don't like you because they fear you.
Yeah.
Because you can still be popular without having to do some of the stuff that they have to do in order to get the same attention.
Absolutely. And so I just put, it's so funny because I used to use this analogy. I put Michelle in the back seat and I let the alter ego drive. Chalet. I let Chalet drive. And she was driving me right to hell. I was like, girl, pull over. You know what I'm saying? We ain't had Jesus wasn't in the passenger seat. He was in the trunk. I need you. I knew I needed him, but I'm gonna put you in the trunk. I'll pull you out, like if I get a flat or something, I'll pull you. Oh Lord, I'll pull you out there. But me, you know, I got
somewhere nobody can see you.
Right, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Chalet was driving. Michelle was in the back seat. Like, are you sure we should be going here? Shut up, girl. I got it. Okay. Yeah, but like I said, it was exhausting. And now I have found such a freedom in just being me. Sometimes at church, I'm the loudest one at church. And I, for a minute, I was just like, because I'm a loud person. I was a loud child. My mom used to be like, you just the loudest child. I was loud always. But I just discovered that freedom hits in all areas of my life. And it's an amazing thing. And it's a freedom. People think, oh, you don't do this and you don't. No, it's a freedom in just being who you naturally are. And if people don't respond to my love, that's fine. I'm not for everybody.
That's right.
There it is. And I'm okay with that. Yeah. I ain't supposed to be well liked in all circles. That's okay.
Yeah. Okay. And that was the ultimate realization is you are meant to attract certain people into your life.
There it is.
And when you are pretending, chances are some of those people that were supposed to make your road a little smoother, y'all crossed paths because they didn't recognize you.
Absolutely.
Because you wasn't being who they were looking for. Hey, I'm looking to connect with this laid back, cool dude, hyper intelligent, creative, genius, very patient, loving, caring, compassionate guy. But when they saw the old Cortez, they thought, oh, that ain't him.
I hear dreadhead. I don't know that dude.
Let's keep it moving. Now that is not like the person that God said was supposed to be in my life at this time. Right. Keep it moving. That dude looks like a thug. He's got
he smell like
pants on, and he smell like the ganja.
He smell like yeah. So yeah, I know we're almost out of time. I don't know if we want to hit the treatment options. They're doing medication. I'm not a fan of the medication, but they are doing it. Exposure therapy is the number one treatment. You know, put the person in that situation and help them to cope and find coping skills and mechanisms. That's probably going to be the most popular. Group therapy, and there are some relaxation skills that can be practiced as well.
Yeah.
So there is a way out. There is help.
There is help, and it's not like I tried to do myself one time, drop them off and disappear. Like, no, take them to the place and be there with them as they're experiencing those moments of anxiety, and help them breathe and help them relax, help them to see that this picture that you had in your mind about your head exploding when somebody say hi to you, nope, it ain't gonna happen. And if it does happen, guess who's here with you? Dad here with you. Don't worry about it.
I got your brain right here. Ooh, got it. Brain exploded. Got it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys want some of these resources, hit me up. I can send you these files and you can read for yourself or share with your loved ones about this serious disease, but it often goes undiagnosed, undetected, because we think that everybody is supposed to be all bubbly, lovey and dovey in public, and that's just not the case, ladies and gentlemen. So that's going to do it for us, man. Until we talk to you next time, I want you to get your money up, because you absolutely can do it. But more importantly, you deserve to do it, each and every single one of you. So hustle up.